and welcome to the Oregon Files podcast, July 4th edition. Today's going to be a fun episode because we're doing our first redo of our first episode on the Dr. Brumfield murder. There's new evidence that blows it wide open, and I had to use the term blows it wide open because dynamite is involved. First, our disclaimer, we are novice podcasters, simply for entertainment and knowledge. If we misquote or offend, it was not on purpose to do so. And we're recording today from my spare bedroom, my attic, also the current way station for my daughter's cat, Amir, who may join us on the podcast. First, my co-host, Elliot Bowman.
Oh, I like the teaser, Mark.
Something new.
How's everyone doing? It's been a little bit since we did this thing. Happy 4th to everyone. We all enjoyed the last episode. We talked to Don Johnson. No, not that Don Johnson, but if you listen to the episode, you know which Don Johnson we were referring to. Yeah, it feels like a little bit since we talked to y'all, but everyone's having a good summer and excited to talk about the 4th of July. Our very first episode we did was the Brumfield murder, and if you listen to the episode, you'll notice that I think the term amateur is probably a nice way to put that the audio was not very good. It's the first episode we ever did. Mark and I were brand spanking new learning how to do a podcast. So we decided, you know what? That episode, it was a big hit, but why not redo it, re-record it? Mark's got some new info. And if you want to check out that episode and any other episodes, go to YouTube, go to our Instagram page, go to anywhere you get your podcast. Our website, we have a bunch of new merch on there. We have hats, sweatshirts, t-shirts. It's www.theoregonfilespodcast.com, and check that out. You can write us reviews and emails and enjoy a listen.
Yeah, that first episode I spent more time editing that first episode than I did on my first marriage. It's a good bad joke.
And it's 249th American birthday, right? Happy birthday, America.
249 years.
Right?
Woo! Doesn't look a day over 180.
Right? You think they're claiming Social Security at 249.
Right? Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll
leave that in there.
We'll leave that in. I love it. All right. Yes, we're going to cover the Dr. Brumfield murder, which is very notorious. It's probably the most famous murder in Roseburg's history, which, get this, happened over 100 years ago. Now, the reason why we're covering this again, obviously we're doing a better version of the podcast. I can edit a little bit better. We had new information found. I couldn't find something from the first time we did it, which was the Umpqua Trapper, the Brumfield Murder Part 1, which was published in 2014. Those things are hard to track down unless you have connections.
They're hard to trap.
Hard to trap down, yeah. Hard. So I finally found the first one. Where I found it, I couldn't take it. I had to take pictures with my cell phone to get you guys this information. And the cool part, though, is this information was also taken directly from the news review. So those are my two sources, are the Umpqua Trapper and the news review. But we'll start with Dr. Brumfield. He was a dentist here in Roseburg, Oregon. Began to plan, I don't think there's an S. I think it's Brumfield.
Brumfield. I keep saying Brumfield.
I keep saying, because it feels like there should be an S in there.
Brumfield.
Oh, boy.
This was
Brumfield.
1920s.
Guys, right? I promise you, this is our better go around.
Oh, God.
All right.
We're going to have to do this again.
This is amazing. Wait till the third one, we'll have it down pat. Give us another 50 episodes. Dr. Richard Brumfield. Is it Brumfield or Brumfield?
I think it's Brumfield.
Brumfield. Okay. We're going to call him Brumfield. Brumfield began to plan his murder, they think, as early as April 1921. And they know for a fact he was kind of guaranteed to go with the plans in May of 1921. So let's start with the poor guy, the schleppy guy who got murdered. His name was William, but he went by Bill, Dennis Russell. He was a local hermit who resided off of Dole Road on the William Moore Place. He was born October 28, 1976. He was a sheep herder by trade, but was also a day laborer and an expert in handling powder. Hopefully, handling powder. That's all it says. I love back then. It was okay to say that in the newspaper. He's good at handling powder.
What kind of powder? And is that like on your LinkedIn?
Right?
Handling powder.
What do you do? I'm pretty good at handling powder.
And I just picture literally handful of powder.
Hey guys. Oh man, he's handling that really good.
Guy's really good at handling powder. Sorry.
He lived a quiet life away from the hustle and bustle of town,
Wait,
which I
he's a local hermit? Is that just a nice way of saying a homeless guy?
You know, I think he lived in a shack because he lived in a shack. But yeah, Herman just kind of kept to himself. He wasn't married, didn't have kids, so that's why he made him a good target for Dr. Brumfield. Brumfield.
Nobody would miss him if he was gone.
That's the whole point. That's why I think that he was finally picked. He stayed to himself, never married. Dennis Russell was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Prior to targeting Mr. Russell, the dentist had targeted a looking-glass hermit by the name of Mr. Higgins.
So yeah, he had somebody else he was inside it.
Yes.
He was planning then.
But Mr. Higgins, for some reason, they don't know why, but it fell through. So he moved on to search for a new victim. Fell through. So maybe Mr. Higgins was too busy. Maybe he did have that one kid that was going to ask questions.
He wasn't good at handling the powder.
Right. Those things happen. Okay, so now let's kind of break into some timelines here. So this all happens July 13th, 1921. So never 104 years ago.
Okay.
Just before noon, Dr. Brumfield made a call at the Burchard Dry Goods Store in Roseburg. He asked Mrs. Burchard, who was helping a strange lady, for an empty box. The strange lady is one of the questions still hanging in this case. No one ever discovered who she was or why she was purchasing a pink skirt that Dr. Brumfield had tried to purchase the day before. Okay, so weird. I love this guy. Even in 1921, I'm surprised. Like, he just kind of called the local place and asked questions. Right. This is already a typical Roseburg old person. At noon, Dr. Brumfield called his wife and let her know that he would be working quite late at the dental office. She was not to look for him until he arrived home. Don't look for me. I'll get there when I get there.
Right. Don't bother me.
Now, by 1 o'clock, though, a Mr. J.H. Hogan on a train, number 12, which was heading north, saw the doctor at the station in Myrtle Creek. He watches the doctor enter the express office carrying a package with him. Once inside, a clerk named H.H. Tibbles. I love these names, like something from like a Lord of the Rings book.
And everyone's just got abbreviation.
Everyone's got their first name abbreviated. Right. And I love that. How's that protect? Anyways.
Right. So I would be E.M. Bowman.
Now, exactly. So what's inside, the clerk named H.H. Tibbles accepted the package from a man named Norman Whitney. Mr. Whitney, a.k.a. Brumfield, wanted the package expressed to Banff, B-A-N-F-F, Canada. However, Mr. Tibbles did not have rates for that trip outside the country. So Mr. Whitney agreed to have the package sent to Seattle. There, Dr. Brumfield stated that he'd have his wife pick up the package in Seattle, and he was on his way to Grants Pass. The thing was, unfortunately, many people saw him on his route back into Roseburg, including Mr. Hogan, who noticed him traveling at a high rate of speed near Dillard.
Driving?
Yep. So we got him. So this is the day. So he hasn't murdered anybody yet, but right now he was mysterious. He got a package.
So what's the package?
Oh, well, it's going to tie into this. This is really the way he gets convicted, by the way. Is this package is what that's how they find out that, number one, he murdered someone. He tried to fake his death. And that package is how they got him, because and we'll play that more into that, but the package is important. Okay. But it was not his underwear. Remember, the whole point of the first time we covered this, we thought that the body that was found had on underwear that didn't match, and that's how they tried it. No, the underwear is not involved. Underwear is involved in the story, but it wasn't on the body, okay? Now, Mrs. Brumfield later said in her testimony that one package was probably dynamite that had been brought for the express purposes of blowing out stumps at their Melrose Ranch. Dr. Brumfield had decided to store it in his office. Once Mr. Brumfield left his office, he did not return that night. Witnesses saw the doctor south of Roseburg, but probably the most damning witness was Walter Bowman.
My cousin?
Who was a local restaurant owner. He was on his way to Riddle to attend a dance when he came upon a red Elgin. An Elgin. Elgin, yes. An Elgin is an old vehicle. That was what Dr. Brumfield drove. It was stopped in the middle of South Pacific Highway, directly opposite of the J.H. Booth Ranch. So if anyone listening knows where the Booth Ranch is, and there's a stream nearby, you want to go look for that stream, because there is a missing jawbone that's going to be in that thing. They could really be something historical. Mr. Bowman stated that in his headlights, he saw what looked like the doctor standing beside his car, and the car had two legs dangling out of it.
What?
As he passed, he thought he saw the doctor push the body in the car. The doctor then got in the car, and after much effort of finding and grinding of gears, finally sped away at a high rate of speed. Then Mr. Bowman lost sight of him. Now, 11 p.m., two Roseburg boys, Lloyd Davis and Danny Campbell, who were returning home from a picnic party, noticed flames of smoke shooting in the air. The boys supposed it was a bonfire, but as they got closer, realized that it was actually an upside-down car in a ditch. This was close to the present-day sewer plant on Melrose Road. They saw a large red car turned over on its top and in flames. The car was in the gulch opposite the slaughterhouse. The boys found no one around and supposed the driver had escaped injury, so they continued on to Roseburg and notified fire officials. By the time Coroner Ritter appeared on the scene, there was already an investigation underway. The decapitated and charred body of the victim had been found a few feet from the burning vehicle. Also found nearby were sticks of dynamite that did not go off. In the light of day on July 14, 1921, so this is the day after, further investigation found several items at the scene of the wreckage. One of the items found, some belonged to Dennis Russell and some belonged to Dr. Brumfield. Some of the items found were bits of clothing, keys identified as Brumfield's, a toothbrush, notebook, and several coins. The notebook had Russell's writing in it. Also found were Brumfield's gun, a .30 caliber Remington, and a scarf pin.
So he was just trying to burn and blow up every possible evidence?
Yes. But he was, the thing is, you hit it on the head when you said it was an amateur type thing. This is his first time he ever tried to commit murder.
And did we get to a motive eventually?
Oh, we have a motive. There's a reason why he tried to make it look like he died, because that way his wife can get the insurance.
But why did he pick this dude?
This dude, because he's a hermit, he had no family. So he just thought nobody was going to care.
So this poor guy's just minding his own business.
You know?
Living out in a shack, probably eating some...
And some guy's like, hey, will you help me blow up these stumps in my yard? Or help me do some day work and I'll pay you. And the guy goes, yeah, sure, I'm a hermit. I need the money.
All right. Little did he know.
Little did he know. Mr. Russell's cabin was checked to see if he was home. Investigators found his dog tied up and the cabin empty.
Oh, at least the dog was tied up.
Yeah. It was concluded that he had not spent the night at his home. Now, Mr. Russell did have brothers who were called and asked to come to the morgue to identify the body. At first, they denied that the body could be their brother, but later changed their mind and decided it was and wanted to claim it. Mrs. Brumfield, though, told officers that her husband always wore white socks, and the socks on the corpse were black. It looked as if the person who was once alive was not wearing underwear, and Miss Brumfield said her husband never went without it.
Yeah. I mean, that's something the wife would know. Your husband never going out with underwear. I
love that this. So here's the funny part. This is where a lot of what they call the sensationalization, or where they blow up the story. So this was a big story at the time. So all around the world, but because it kind of got blown up and it kind of different interpretations. So because there was a comment about underwear, some people assumed that when they found the body, like Dr. Brumfield's initials were in the underwear, or the guy who died's initials were in the underwear. No, it was a charred body and he had no underwear. And so because the wife said, like, well, wait a minute, my husband always had underwear and this body doesn't have underwear, it's obviously not my husband. You know, that kind of thing.
So the initial thought was he killed himself?
He died in the car accident.
He died in the car crash, correct, along with the gentleman, along with the hermit guy.
No, the hermit guy so the wife had no idea the hermit guy wasn't even involved. He didn't tell. That's why he said, don't look for me. I'll go home when I get there.
So the initial thought was, Dr. Brumfield died in this car crash. Everything blew up.
That's it. Yep. That was what the whole thing was. But the wife's the only one believing this story, by the way.
Yeah.
And which there's a lot of allegations that she was in on it.
Okay.
Because obviously the money. Now, a Dillard resident, Grant Dayton, drives down Pacific Highway around 9 a.m. and that morning saw what looked like a pool of blood with a black hat nearby. The scene was near the Booth Orchard, just off the pavement. He assumed someone had shot a deer and lost their hat. I love the assumptions.
Right. Shot a deer, lost the hat.
It makes sense. It
makes sense. Right?
Now, he didn't make a report of what he saw, but later in the evening, Mr. Dayton heard about the wreck and reported what he had seen. Upon further investigations by authorities, they found more pieces of scalp with gray hair.
Oh, God.
And a hat, which had the initials WDR, William Dennis Russell. The hat had a tear just above the band, which authorities felt represented a blow from a blunt instrument.
Now, when did they stop putting initials in hats and clothing?
Because it's fast fashion now. You're not going to go to Walmart and say, hey, I'm going to get this, $5 shirt. We put my initials in it.
Put it on my tag. Well, it's smart to do because look what happened.
Look what happens.
You could identify a hermit.
Just very true.
All right.
I'm going to start putting my name in everything I wear. It's just going to be safety.
It's just going to be safety.
In case something happens, someone goes like, we're going to murder you. Make it look like an accident. Careful.
Hey,
my initials. All my clothes.
Right.
The hat was later identified as Dennis Russell's for sure. On July 15th, Mr. Russell's brothers identified pieces of scalp. So now we're on to July 15th. This is 2 days after the murder. As the news got around town, local banks let investigators know that Dr. Brumfield had borrowed $1,000 several days before from two different banks. Authorities also found that Dr. Brumfield was very heavily insured, both for death and accident, to the tune of $26,000.
How much?
$26,000.
Which back then was
Was
probably about $100-something thousand dollars.
It's enough to. But he had a lot of debts. There's a whole thing about how much like he had 2 different houses in the Douglas County area.
Two
but
houses?
He had 2 houses, but both of them he had taken liens against.
Oh, buddy.
That he owed on. He had owed stuff in his practice. He had owed all this kind of money. He had a property, I guess it was a family property that was back in Missouri that he had taken a loan out as well. And now, get this, he had burned down houses in Roseburg as well. So he had 2 houses before the ones he currently owned that burned down that he claimed, that he would get the insurance money.
Yeah.
But then he wouldn't use it to build the house. He'd just walk away from it.
So $26,000 in 1920 is equivalent to $415,738 in today's money.
That'll get you by. That you can make that happen.
Yeah.
An autopsy was performed on July 16th. 2 doctors performed the task. Dr. Stewart. Doc Stewart's. They found 2 bullet holes from a high-powered rifle, one below the shoulder blade, and the other had penetrated the chest. They also found that his spinal column had been severed by one of the bullets.
Good God.
Pieces of smashed bullet were found, and enough of them were left over to help identify the caliber of the gun used. On the same day, Mrs. Brumfield was still saying the body was that of her husband.
Now she sounds shady.
Yeah. July 17th is when investigators discovered that the package had been mailed to Seattle. Sheriff Starmer, afraid that Dr. Brumfield would try to disguise himself as a woman, sent out word. He went to Dillard and Weaver Road and hunted so they looked for the jawbone and teeth of the deceased man. So when they say this thing was decapitated, what they found out is that Brumfield had a history from when he was in his medical training of working with cadavers and like cutting them up and stuff. And he got very adept, especially at decapitating. And he knew that dental records could be used to identify him. He knew that would be the only way that they would know that this was Russell.
So his hobby was just messing around with dead bodies.
So what he did, he pulled over the side of the road here in Douglas County, ripped this guy's jawbone out, threw it off the side of the road somewhere.
But why throw it off the side of the road? Why not just shove it in your pocket?
He had to get on a train. He's got to get on a train. He can't have a bloody jawbone in his pocket.
All right. Can't make it through security.
That's right. So he took out the guy's jawbone and then he puts a stick of dynamite down the guy's throat. Lights that, then lets the car go down the road. So when they say it is decapitated, what was left of his head was blown off. So that's why from the neck down, there's nothing. Okay. And that's why they're trying to find the jawbone so they can get the teeth to get the dental records. Never found the jawbone, by the way.
Oh, was this guy dead or alive when that happened?
He was dead. So they have identified that because of the bullet wounds, that kind of stuff. Like they knew that the blunt force from the indent in the hat, like he obviously conked him out, shot him twice. They think that the guy, even though after he shot him twice, they think there was a struggle at some point because there was a weird third bullet. That they say either the guy tried to wake up and Brumfield had to shoot him again, or Brumfield was not very good and like. His gun went off. He was like ripping the jawbone off.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, right? Yeah, what a terrible way to go. July 18th now. So now we're 5 days after the murder. Another pool of dried blood was found on Weaver Road by Ed Weaver. Once again, I love it back in the old days. Where are you at, Weaver Road? Who's this? Ed Weaver.
Ed Weaver. All right.
Checks out.
And why there's just blood everywhere from the explosion?
So the hard part was Dr. Brumfield, like literally driving around with this body, and then like, oh wait, I should probably rip off the jaw. Pulls over, takes the jaw off,
making a mess everywhere.
Yes.
What an amateur.
So the pool of blood was very near where the strange car, where the car was parked when the guy saw him. You remember the guy Bowman saw him?
Yeah, my cousin.
Yep. Investigators searched a deep area of South Umpqua for the missing jawbone, which would have the teeth, but never found it. Mrs. Brumfield still believes that the body is that of her husband. She asked authorities.
Still believes she wants that money.
She wants a reward now to capture the murderer, Dennis Russell. She thinks that Dennis Russell killed her husband.
She thinks the hermit killed her husband?
Yes, she's all for it.
How quick do you think she was shopping when she heard her husband died? She was probably in that 1920s Macy's catalog ordering stuff.
Yeah, she was getting ready to move to Canada.
She was already on Amazon.
She was ready to go.
She moved to Canada.
What finally convinced her that it wasn't her husband was after hearing that the shoes found on the body had been bought earlier in the year by Dennis Russell at Isidor's Seedlings shop in Myrtle Creek. The inquest wrapped up the next day at 5 p.m. Now, most importantly, on August 10th, the box that Dr. Brumfield had shipped to Seattle that contained the woman's clothing was received by Sheriff Starmer. On August 12th, Dr. Brumfield was apprehended from a field he was plowing on a ranch about 4 miles south of Minapore, Alberta, Canada, near Calgary. He was approached by the Royal Northwest Mounted Police, and he claimed to be a person named Norman Whitney. In his effects, a confession letter was found. It was supposedly written by Dennis Russell and included misspelled words so that it would appear to be written by Mr. Russell. On August 13th, Sheriff Starmer and Deputy Webb leave Roseburg and head to Canada to pick up the alleged murder. At the same time, Dr. Brumfield tells the Associated Press about how he escaped from Roseburg the night of the murder. So this guy is now telling the newspaper, like, oh yeah, I was attacked by this guy, I got away. And then he starts to claim, here's the best part is, when they arrived to pick him up, the officers made it clear that they knew that they had to drop on him, that the doctor grew quietly pale and put his hands up for cuffs. He admitted to being Richard M. Brumfield. The next day, he told officers he was ready to go back to Roseburg. He feigned insanity, so Dr. Brumfield said he was insane and claims memory loss.
Classic.
Right? Upon going through his luggage, a letter from a Mrs. Grace Killigan, a chambermaid at a Lake Louise hotel in Canada, was found. Brumfield admitted staying at Lake Louise for a few days while on the run. He also admitted to using the name Bill Mooney as well while he was in the Portland area for a short while.
How did they catch him in Canada? Like, how did they know he was in Canada?
Well, remember he tried to mail that package to Canada, so
Right.
they had the address down of where it was going to go to. But because he had to stop in Seattle, they're like, well, wait a minute, we'll just intercept the package because we know it's going to Seattle. And then we now, once it gets to Seattle, we know that where it was supposed to go in Canada.
What an idiot.
What an idiot.
I mean, come on, man.
On August 26th, the News Review reveals that Dr. Brumfield had written the Seattle Express office in the name of Norman Whitney from the ranch where he worked in Canada, seeking to secure the package. So not only did they find the address, but they have a letter from him to the Seattle place saying, hey, I just need to get my package. Now, on August 29th, the grand jury investigation begins. The investigation finished on August 31st. The grand jury returned an indictment of murder in the first degree of Dennis Russell. Here's my favorite part. On September 1st, Deputy Sheriff Frank Two Guns Hopkins. People to this day, we don't have fun nicknames like that anymore. When your name, Deputy Sheriff Frank Two Guns Hopkins.
Okay, how do you not get reelected every year if your nickname is Two Guns?
Two Guns.
That is amazing.
Such a great name. To live on the legendary,
Frank
that guy.
Two Guns
I want
Hopkins.
his movie. Because I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. And Sheriff Starmer escorted Dr. Brumfield to the circuit courtroom judge. Once authorities found out about the woman's clothing in the package, a theory came about. It was suspected he was going to try and go to Australia dressed as a woman. There also was a possibility Dr. Brumfield had affairs with women other than his wife. The hotel manager in Lake Louise said that Brumfield and the chambermaiden had been intimate.
Uh-oh.
This and the strange lady mentioned before. So,
A chambermaiden.
yeah.
So it's like a
Chambermaid,
housekeeper.
Chambermaid, yeah. Somebody's just there,
I love that he
Like
wrote
Bunty.
the note in a way where he assumed that the guy he killed is an idiot and just misspelled words.
Yeah.
How do you know he wasn't educated?
Right. And the fact that what's even funnier is that when they found the body or they found the possessions in the car, they found Russell's diary, which didn't match the handwriting that Brumfield tried to make a note out of. So once again, you're like,
Right.
dude.
You did not think about this at all.
Now, one thing he did, he thought that they were not going to identify by any of those other things. So what Dr. Brumfield did do is he took off his wedding ring and put it on that body. That was why the wife is so convinced.
Oh,
They say that's one of the arguments.
Huh.
That was the only thing that tied him, of course,
Yeah.
out in the car. One of the things that Dr. Brumfield bragged about in the past was that he had medical experience from his medical school days. For a year and a half, he was in charge of the bodies brought into the school for learning purposes. My work was to remove the head and upper part of the trunk. I did not know the part of the body would be called part of the trunk.
I wish I didn't know that.
I handled he even said I handled a large number of cadavers during the time and became an expert in preparing the heads for examination. So we would take them off and,
Bro, you sound like you got some problems.
this guy,
Need to see a little therapy.
I feel like he would have been one of those like mass murderer type people today.
Right. He would definitely be up there.
They found out that he had a house on Old Melrose Road that he had burned down. He claimed the insurance. This is when they started finding all his past expenses. Now, the doctor did have family, and they came in from Princeton to see what was going on. So then October 11th is when the opening arguments happened in the court case.
So the murders took place in July,
Yeah.
and the trial already began in October.
Yeah.
So-
we went right into it because there's enough evidence, that kind of stuff. And it's not one of those ones where, and today you don't need
Take
like 6
forever.
months. Yeah.
Right.
So on October 11th, 1921, defense attorneys have a long conference with Dr. Brumfield brothers and Mrs. Brumfield. On October 12th, here's a good one. This is a good update. On October 12th, an old Civil War veteran, Virgil S. Grout, testified that he found a piece of an ear
Ew.
in the culvert below the wreck on July 14th, the day after the wreck.
My God, this guy was all over the place.
Just walking around. I think that's a piece of an ear.
Oh.
On October 14th, Dr. Brumfield's brothers take the stand and say that Dr. Brumfield had received 2 bad blows as a youngster that explained his mental deficiency. They said he would also very heavy sleepwalker as his father and grandfather before him. Because of this, they felt he could and should not be held responsible for his actions.
So you're saying he had a little past concussions, or he had a little head trauma?
Yeah, that was the argument.
Sleepwalking have to do with anything?
I know. Well, here's the deal. 2 days later, Richard Melvin Brumfield is declared guilty of murder in the first degree.
So it took 2 days.
It took 2 days. It wasn't going. 2 days after that, on October 21st, Dr. Brumfield attempted suicide by cutting his own throat. It was said that he used a razor on his own bridge, dental work from his mouth. Sheriff Starmer searched the cell more than once looking for a razor, but none were ever found. While doctors worked over the dentist in an effort to save his life, the dentist complained of a very painful tooth. He removed his dental bridge and handed it to Sheriff Starmer. Upon examination, the sheriff found clotted blood and hair, and so he concluded that the device used by the dentist to cut his own throat was his own dental device.
Good God.
So then the dentist starts to run a high fever. He would not speak of the suicide and claimed that he'd been shot. This guy, not all there.
Right. He got some issues.
So here's the deal. That was on October 21st. They moved into a different facility up in Salem that they could watch him, make sure that, because at this point, he was going to get hung by a double gallows that had already been built and was waiting his time to hang the doctor and another criminal. So he built a special gallows for him and somebody else. That's how big this, it's like going to a concert. You know what I mean? It's like these people are going to show up to watch this guy get hung.
Oh my God.
That's how big the story was. Now, but Brumfield wasn't going to have it in the public. So he was sentenced to hang on January 31st, 1922. The case worked its way through court, so he kept doing appeals. He kept doing all these kind of things.
To appeal getting hung.
Yeah, getting hung, the appeal of the murder.
So it was like a hung jury.
Not even that. No, there was no hung. Yeah, there was no hung jury. He just kept appealing it. But he knew so this is how he eventually dies. September 13th, 1922, Brumfield succeeds in hanging himself by making a rope out of a sheet and strips of canvas from his mattress. He used rolled blankets to make a form of a man in the bed and placed a newspaper over his pillow. So look, he was sleeping in the. Guards probably thought nothing of him staying in bed because he had been in bed since the days prior to his other suicide where he tried to cut his neck. He was despondent and ill because he found that place he'd chosen to hang himself from was too short for the deed. So he's in a shorter cell where he couldn't really stand up. That was to prevent him from hanging. He actually tied his feet, his knees, and his hands before jumping to his death. He was found at 12:45, having eaten one of the 3 peaches given to him during the daily fruit rationing. Brumfield left behind 2 letters along with his trinkets and books. One letter was to the warden who ran the penitentiary in Salem. The other was to his wife. The letter to the warden said 2 things. He denied the killing of Dennis Russell and instruction for the warden to make sure that his stuff got to his wife, which is once again another thing too, that even if he did have like a secret cache of money, the wife had to know about it and had to get information to it. The wife ends up actually living in Roseburg for a while and marries someone else after a couple of times.
But did she get a bunch of money because of it too?
It's not clear. And it might be one of those things that's undisclosed. So that's kind of the funny part is I don't think so because she did not live a rich life afterward. She ended up marrying, I think, 2 extra times and was married to a day laborer. She eventually moved down to California, and that was where they last because she ended up having kids with her later husband, and there's no mention of, they're not in census or anything anywhere after that.
So even though he was going to get hung anyway, he just hangs himself.
He hung himself. This is one of those things that was a weird Epstein thing for me because it's like to tie up your own hands, your own feet. Like I'm not that good with I have a hard time doing left and right hand, but to tie everything up together and then I could see it happen. I guess if he tied it just right and it rolled off his bed.
I can barely tie my shoes.
Right. So anyways,
that's crazy.
Crazy murder, right?
Crazy
just so many
and
wild
weird,
details.
Yeah, it's kind of sad too.
Yeah.
I mean, just a little mental health, just
all for money,
sick in the head,
all for scams and money. So
I mean, it's tale as old as time, man.
Jeez. So I don't deal with money. I just choose not to.
So well,
hey, there's the corrections though.
This is a funny transition here.
Okay, fire away.
going from talking about some guy blowing some guy up for money and hanging himself to 4th of July celebrations.
It was meant to
I
happen.
feel like we should have a different transition
right?
here.
Hey, Dynamite's dynamite.
I am gonna put this out here right now. I was gonna talk about Joey Chestnut, who is he holds like 55 world records for food competitions, and last year he ate 83 hot dogs last year and buns in 10 minutes, previously shattering his record of 76 hot dogs. The competition is actually going on right now, and it looks like he's got about 45 seconds. He's going to win again.
That's amazing.
And looks like he's probably close to doing about 70. So he's not going to break his record. And last year he did 83 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Is absolutely disgusting.
Why is it the only thing you think about is that bathroom trip the next day?
Later that evening, that's
gonna be the poops of all poops.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I mean, he's at 68 here. Anyway, we'll move on to here. So that was my transition, Joey Chestnut.
He's got a plumber on a speed dial. Can you imagine?
My gosh.
Hey, man,
and he does he does more than just hot dog eating. At what age does this guy say this is enough? Looks like he did about 70 in 10 minutes.
But you said how much is the prize if he wins?
$100,000.
Here's the deal: if you're gonna give me $100,000 a year to stuff my face for 10 minutes, right? I think I can make it happen.
So he did 70 in 10 minutes. The second place dude, 46.
The audacity to think you're gonna beat a guy who's working down 70.
I mean, he looks like agony, and he's not a big dude.
I bet his doctor is pissed. Can you imagine his blood work next day?
Oh my God. He must fast for a week.
Right. You gotta want it. Yeah. I love it. All right.
Okay. Sorry.
Good stuff. No, good stuff.
So we've talked about 4th of July maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to just go into the old just the everyday knowledge about 4th of July. What is this? I mean, yay, 4th of July. It's a wonderful holiday celebrating America, right? 249th birthday. Next year will be 250th birthday. Maybe we'll talk about something more besides that.
Crazy.
But I found offbeat 4th of July celebrations in America.
Okay.
And the website is South Arkansas Sun. So this is going to be good. Number 1 is a boombox parade in Willimantic, Connecticut.
A boombox, so everyone's got different music going.
Back in 1986, Willimantic, I can't pronounce this word. It's Willimantic, Connecticut. They faced a crisis. There was no marching band for Memorial Day parade. Radio station WILI came up with a crazy idea. They play marching band music over the airways while everyone carried boom boxes tuned into their station.
Yes.
The plan worked so well, they moved it to 4th of July. It's been running for nearly 40 years. Now, thousands of people march down the main street of the town carrying radios blasting the same patriotic songs.
It's amazing. Actually, that's cute. That was cute.
This one we just talked about, the Coney Island hot dog eating contest. It's been since 1972. A Mount Marathon race in Seward, Alaska. This is a punishing 3.1-mile race started from a bar bet in the early 1900s between two sourdoughs. I don't know. It's in quotations. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
They argued whether someone could run up Mount Marathon and back in under an hour. The first official race happened in 1915, making it North America's oldest mountain race. Okay. So it was two guys in a bar betting whether somebody can run up a mountain and back in under an hour. And it's a 3.1-mile race. I just love it started in a bar. People are just making bets. Runners climb 2,974 feet straight up a mountain face, touch a boulder at the top, then scramble back down.
Yes.
The current men's record is 41 minutes, 26 seconds, and the women's is 47 minutes and 9 seconds. Racers often finish bleeding, covered in mud, earning the nickname the toughest 5K on the planet. I absolutely love this one.
Yeah.
Independence Day Anvil Shoot. Museum of Appalachia, Tennessee. Okay. The Museum of Appalachia celebrates July 4th by using gunpowder to launch 200-pound anvils hundreds of feet into the air. The tradition dates back to pioneer days when people used anvils to shoot commemorate holidays and elections. The museum has kept this nearly extinct practice alive for almost 30 years. The explosions can be heard for several miles, literally shaking the ground. They fire anvils at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon, 1, 2, and 3 p.m., turning Independence Day into an all-day thunderous celebration. Who needs fireworks when you have anvils?
Right? I love it.
Lobster races in Bar Harbor, Maine.
Okay.
So Bar Harbor hosts lobster races as part of their Independence Day celebration. These crawling crustaceans don't exactly sprint; they move at a snail's pace. they through a tank while spectators place bets on their favorite because why not?
Why not, right?
The event's been running since 1978 as a fundraiser for the Mount Desert Island YMCA. The winners get bragging rights and knowledge that the lobster was the fastest in a field of very slow competitors. Let's see here.
It's amazing.
Right. This one's in Oregon. Timber Festival with lawnmower races.
There you go.
The tiny town of Estacada.
Estacada. There's a great disc golf course up there.
It's got about 3,000 people. They celebrate July 4th with their annual Timber Festival featuring lawnmower races, log rolling contests, and carefully monitoring axe throwing competitions. The event reflects the town's lumber industry heritage and turn everyday tools into competition equipment. Participants soup up their lawnmowers for racing while others test their balance on floating logs. The axe throwing contest draws skilled lumberjacks who can split wood with a deadly accuracy. This is in Bolinas and Stinson Beach, California. They do a cross-water tug of war. Oh, that's kind of cool. Every 4th of July, the neighboring town of Bolinas and Stinson Beach battle out with a massive tug of war across water that separates the two communities. The celebration has been going on for over a century, attracting thousands of spectators who watch as teams of 30 try to drag the other onto the shallow water. The rope stretches across the lagoon, and whichever team gets pulled into the water loses. It's been a community rivalry, and it's a lot of fun. National Tom Sawyer Day.
Okay.
Hannibal, Missouri, Mark Twain's childhood home.
Okay.
Celebrates with the National Tom Sawyer Days Festival. I've heard of this. The highlight is a national fence painting contest. Thousands watch contestants race to paint sections of fence. This recreates the famous scene from Twain's novel Tom Sawyer. While he tricked others into doing this work, the contestant has been running for over 69 years and includes multiple age division. Winners get prizes, but everyone gets satisfaction completing actual work disguised as fun, just like Tom intended. Catalina Island. I love Catalina Island. Golf cart parade. On July 4th, Catalina Island, golf carts become the stars, which Catalina Island has no cars you can drive. It's only golf carts.
Crazy.
Residents deck out their carts in red, white, and blue, turning these into a little patriotic floats. They do a little parade up and down the streets. In Aptos, California, they call this the world's shortest parade. It spans 0.6 miles over 2 city blocks. The celebration kicks off with a pancake breakfast. Why not? Before the parade begins at 10. I love that there's a parade. There's a pancake breakfast for a 0.6 mile parade that kicks off at 10. The route features antique cards, floats, bicyclist walkers, decorated trucks. Despite its brief length, the parade packs plenty of small town charm into 2 blocks.
I like that a lot.
It's 2 blocks.
That's how you do it.
Right. Let's see here.
God, pancake breakfast is always a good way
I love
to go
me
for
pancake
anything,
breakfast.
right?
I found some other 4th of July stuff here. Did you know the president who celebrated freedom, Zachary Taylor, he gained his national fame for his service during the Mexican-American War in 1812. Unfortunately, Taylor's tenure in the Oval Office was brief. He died 16 months into his presidency. The circumstances of his death was kind of mysterious and still are to this day. A lot agree that illness that killed him was linked to a dietary choice he made on July 4th, 1850.
Oh.
The story goes while Taylor attended 4th of July celebrations in Washington, D.C., which included the groundbreaking ceremony for the Washington Monument.
Okay.
For 2 hours, 65-year-old Taylor sat underneath the blistering sun listening to speeches, paying homage to the first president. When the ceremony was over, he took along the banks of the Potomac before returning home to the White House, where he said he needed a cold drink. Even in those days, July 4th celebrations were usually consumption of cider, whiskey, and wine, but Taylor didn't, but inclined toward the bottle. His choice was ice cold milk paired with a bowl of cherries.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
That night, Taylor began having stomach pain. His health deteriorated quickly from nausea, diarrhea, fever. He died 5 days later.
Wow.
You got to be careful when you celebrate 4th of July.
No kidding. Dang.
Philadelphia, they tapped the Liberty Bell. 2,000-pound copper and tin Liberty Bell was forged in 1751.
Okay.
On July 4th at 2 p.m. at Liberty Bell Center at 526 Market Street, it's tapped 13 times, one for each of the original 13 colonies. In the 1980s, Ocean Beach in San Diego, they do a giant marshmallow fight. Local families toss marshmallows at each other during a neighborhood barbecue to a massive crowd and sugary mess.
I love it.
Good ways to celebrate. See, it's not just fireworks and food. You know, there's a lot of fun traditions around the United States where they celebrate different ways. I would love to go to just some of those random small towns in middle of America and see what it's like to celebrate 4th of July. You know,
the best pie.
Oh gosh, right? Pie. Let's see here. $8.9 billion. The amount of money Americans plan to spend on 4th of July food.
Wow.
Almost $9 billion.
Why not?
$9 billion. 150 million number of hot dogs eaten each 4th of July. 4+ billion amount of Americans plan to spend on 4th of July beer and wine.
Wow.
2.8 billion estimated amount spent on fireworks in 2024. 66% of fireworks injuries occurred within the month of July 4th.
Of course.
4.7 million value of American flags imported annually. And 72 million number of people who travel 50+ miles from home for 4th of July, which was up 2.4% over 2024.
Good.
Setting a new record for a holiday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Good 4th of July stuff.
I
Happy
love
4th. I love 4th of July, you know?
It's a good summer holiday.
It's good. And today, it's only supposed to be about 80.
Yes, we get a great break in the weather.
So a good day to be outside, not to be not too hot, you know?
It's on a Friday.
It's on a Friday. Today feels like Saturday, Sunday. It's weird.
It's so
on
weird.
A Friday. It's nice to have a 3-day weekend.
And for you and I, we're both in the banking industry, so it's a paid bank holiday for both of us.
It is.
I'm getting paid money right now to do this podcast.
Those damn That's right. That's right. No, I like the 4th. It's a good excuse to do some beverage drinking and some eating and yeah, like that's Friday. That Saturday and Sunday I can clean up the house and stuff.
Right. Yeah. So that
anyway,
2 questions. Then.
Yes.
So
favorite thing about 4th and least favorite thing.
So favorite thing about
I think
the
we're
4th.
probably going to say the same thing about least favorite thing.
So it's so funny because it changed as I got older. My favorite thing when I was growing up was the fireworks.
Yeah.
Now as I'm older, it's my least favorite thing.
Me too.
But here's the deal. Fireworks
I think because we're just getting grumpy.
We're just getting grumpy and old.
Right.
But the problem is I got dogs that get scared. Here's the deal. Fireworks are great if you do them like at the fairgrounds.
Right.
Don't do them in a neighborhood.
Right. I love that we're just two old men who at 9:45, 10 o'clock, I'm yelling at people because they're being too loud with fireworks.
100%.
But rewind 20 years ago, I'd be like, oh, yeah.
I spent an obscene amount of money on fireworks when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just feel bad for the animals.
Yeah. My dog, I have one dog that just can't. It's the end of the world every time.
Right.
And the hard part, too, I guess, it's the time of year because as soon as those fireworks stands open up, some crazy local, yokel, is out there like, I'm going to test these out each night. Yeah, some hermit is testing these things out for like 5 days prior.
Right.
It's like, I can't wait.
They got to see which one will have the biggest explosion on the actual 4th.
And they just set off like one. You know what I mean? That's the fun. Don't set off one at 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
They think it's funny.
And then my favorite thing was, I think just like what I was saying a little bit ago, was gathering with friends and family. We traditionally go to the coast because father-in-law's birthday's on July 4th, but this year we're having a big family get together. So, but food, drinks, barbecue, probably my favorite part about the 4th.
I could see that. We used to do big gatherings too for this, but then we changed it up. These guys different birthdays this year, different things going on. So just due to timing and changes, we're just going to keep a quiet one this year.
Yeah.
But
sounds nice.
But yeah. But my favorite thing is honestly just I like a holiday. I like when everyone's kind of in the same mindset and everyone's,
right.
It's kind of like that vibe you get around Christmas where everyone's just kind of happy and in a pleasant mood. I like that.
Until later when they're drunk setting off fireworks.
Oh, I know. And then in the emergency room.
All right. Just be careful out there.
Right.
Don't blow any fingers off. Anyway,
All right.
thanks for diving into Brumfield murder, finding more information on that.
No problem.
That was our first episode. This is fast forward 4 years.
Crazy, isn't it? So
Insane.
much more. So much
4
more.
years. That was 4 years ago we did that episode. We have some interviews lined up here. If you want to get a hold of our show, you can always email us. It's OregonFilesPodcast@yahoo.com. Leave comments on our Instagram,
Yes.
our YouTube. We've even seen some really great comments on the YouTube channel. You can subscribe there and get updates when Mark puts it out there. And you can go out to our website. It's www.theoregonfilespodcast.com. Get yourself a t-shirt.
Yes.
Get yourself a hat. The money that you buy on the merch, it goes right to Mark and I paying the bills for the podcast. We're not spending willy-nilly stuff. We're not flashy people. Maybe Mark is.
I'm very flashy.
But anyway, we appreciate the many, many, many comments, and
Yes.
even taking my dog to get the groomer to the groomers. They yeah, you got a podcast? We like listening. Appreciate them. That's a little teaser. And anyway, I'm just rambling on here.
All
so
right, man. Hey,
happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
Cheers.
Cheers.